the Golden Owl Podcast.
Speak better, fly higher.
Welcome to the Golden Owl Podcast. I am Daniel Torres, and sitting across from me, as always, is the one and only Maya Powell.
Hey everyone, really happy to be here today. And Daniel, I have to say, you look very relaxed today. Did you meditate before we started?
I did actually, 20 minutes this morning. But that is not why I look relaxed. I look relaxed because my feet feel amazing.
Your feet feel amazing. Okay, that is a new one. Usually you come in here complaining about your back or your coffee or something.
Hey, my coffee complaints are completely valid. But today we are talking about something different. Today we are talking about walking barefoot. And not just as a fun little experiment, we actually stopped wearing shoes for 30 days. Both of us.
Both of us, yes. And I want to say for the record that it was Daniel's idea and I was not immediately excited about it.
She was not excited at all. She looked at me like I had just suggested we eat grass for a month.
I mean, it sounded a little crazy, but okay, let's start from the beginning because some of our listeners might be hearing about this for the first time. So Daniel, what is barefoot walking exactly?
Right, so barefoot walking is exactly what it sounds like. You walk without shoes. No trainers, no sandals, nothing on your feet. Just your skin touching the ground. But it is also a bigger idea than just taking your shoes off. There is a whole movement around it. People who believe that walking without shoes is more natural and more healthy for your body.
And when we say a movement, we mean a lot of people. Like this is not a tiny group of people living in the forest somewhere.
No, millions of people around the world are doing this. You can find huge communities online, books, research, YouTube channels, everything. It became especially popular in the last 10 or 15 years. But here's the interesting thing, and this is something I find really fascinating. It is not a new idea at all.
Right, because humans did not always wear shoes.
Exactly. And this is where the history gets really interesting. For most of human history, people walked without shoes. We're talking hundreds of thousands of years. Our feet evolved to walk on natural surfaces, on grass, on sand, on soil, on rocks. And shoes, as we know them today, are actually a very recent invention.
I read that proper shoes with a thick sole and a raised heel only became common in the last few hundred years, which is really nothing compared to how long humans have existed.
Nothing. It's like a tiny moment. And some researchers argue that modern shoes, especially the ones with a very thick sole and lots of cushioning, actually change the way we walk in ways that are not always good for our body.
Which brings us to the health stuff, and this is the part that actually made me interested in trying the experiment, because I'm studying sports science, and I had read a little bit about this.
Oh, here comes the science. Everyone put on your listening ears.
Stop it! Okay, so when you walk barefoot, your foot works completely differently than when you are wearing a thick shoe. In a shoe, especially a modern trainer, your heel hits the ground first. Every step, heel first. But when you walk barefoot, you naturally start to land more on the middle of your foot or even the front of your foot. And this small change makes a big difference.
Can you explain why? Because I think this is important.
So when your heel hits the ground first, the impact goes straight up through your leg. Your knee, your hip, your lower back, they all feel that impact. But when you land on the middle of your foot acts like a spring. It absorbs the impact much more naturally, less stress on your joints.
And I actually felt this. After about a week of walking barefoot in the garden and in the park near my house, my lower back felt different, like less tight. I was not expecting that at all.
That matches what the research says. There are studies showing that barefoot walking can help with posture, with lower back pain, with knee problems. It can also strengthen the small muscles in your foot that just don't work very much when you're inside a shoe all day.
My feet are basically going to the gym now.
Your feet are going to the gym. I love that. But it is actually true. Most of us have very weak foot muscles because our shoes do everything for us. When you go barefoot, those muscles start working again.
Okay, so now I have to tell the story because this is where it gets funny. The first time I went outside without shoes, I went to the park near my flat. Nice green park, lovely day. I felt like some kind of free spirit.
Oh no, I know where this is going.
I walked maybe 50 meters and I stepped on something. I do not know what it was, something small and sharp, and I jumped so high, Maya. I genuinely jumped like a cartoon character.
He called me immediately. His first words were, "This is a terrible idea."
I said exactly that, but then I kept going because I am stubborn. And after a few minutes, something interesting happened. I started paying attention to where I was walking in a completely different way. Like I was really looking at the ground, feeling the texture of the grass, the difference between dry grass and wet grass, and it felt, I don't know, it felt nice actually.
That is something a lot of people talk about, that barefoot walking makes you more present, more connected to your surroundings. And there is actually a concept connected to this that I want to mention. It's called grounding, or sometimes earthing.
Grounding. Okay, so this is one of those words that sounds a little spiritual, but also has some science behind it.
Yes, exactly. So grounding, for our listeners who have not heard this word, it means making direct physical contact with the earth, with the soil, the grass, the sand. The idea is that the earth carries a natural electrical charge, and when your bare feet touch the ground, your body connects with that charge.
And why is that supposed to be good?
So there are some studies, not huge studies, but they exist, that suggest grounding can reduce inflammation in the body, help with sleep, and lower stress levels. The theory is that modern life keeps us completely separated from the earth. We wear rubber shoes, we live in buildings, we never actually touch natural ground.
And maybe that separation has some effect on how we feel. I actually slept really well during those 30 days. I noticed that quite early. I thought it was just coincidence, but maybe it was connected.
It might be. I also felt calmer on the days when I walked barefoot in the garden in the morning. But I want to be honest with our listeners. The science on grounding is not completely settled. Some researchers are very positive about it. Others say we need more studies. So I would say do not throw away your shoes because of grounding. But it is an interesting idea, and walking barefoot outside doesn't cost anything.
0 pounds, 0 euros. Completely free health experiment.
Exactly. But okay, we should also talk about the realistic side of this, because not every surface is safe for walking barefoot.
Oh yes, this is the important part, because I also learned some lessons the hard way during those 30 days. The park near my flat is lovely. Soft grass, clean ground, no problems. But the city is a completely different story.
So what are the main things people need to watch out for?
Glass is obviously the big one. In cities, on pavements, near bus stops or outside bars and restaurants, there can be broken glass. You cannot always see it. That's a real risk. Also, very hot surfaces. In summer, asphalt and direct sunlight can get extremely hot. We're talking burns. Not a nice experience.
And from a health perspective, there's also the question of fungal infections. If you walk barefoot in public places like changing rooms, swimming pools, or public showers, the risk of catching a foot fungus is quite high. So barefoot walking in nature is very different from barefoot walking in public indoor spaces.
So the rule we kind of developed during the experiment was natural surfaces outside, yes. City pavements, only if you know the area is clean. Public indoor spaces, absolutely not.
Which is honestly common sense, but it is good to say it clearly.
And there is another thing I want to mention. The difference between a park and hot city asphalt is not just about safety. It is also about the experience. Walking barefoot on grass in the morning, especially when there is a little bit of dew on the grass, that is honestly one of the nicest feelings I have had in a long time. Walking on city concrete, that just hurts and it is not enjoyable at all.
Same. My favorite moment of the whole 30 days was walking on the sand at the beach. We went for a weekend trip, and I spent basically the whole time without shoes. My feet felt incredible by the end.
Mine too, and my posture felt more upright, like I was standing taller, which coming from someone who sits at a desk painting for hours every day is quite significant.
You do hunch a lot when you paint.
I hunch terribly. My back is like a question mark sometimes. But during those weeks, I really noticed a difference. Less tension in my shoulders and lower back.
And that connects back to what we said earlier about the way barefoot walking changes your posture and the way your whole body moves. It's not just about the feet. It's a chain reaction that goes all the way up.
And that is actually something I did not expect going into this experiment. I thought it would just be about my feet, like, okay, my feet will get stronger, fine, but it affected my whole body.
That's the thing about the body. Everything is connected. You change something small at the bottom and you feel it at the top. But let's talk about something I think a lot of our listeners are probably thinking about right now. Because we keep talking about parks and beaches and gardens, but most people live in cities. Most people walk on pavements, on concrete, on tiles. So is there actually a big difference between barefoot walking in nature versus barefoot walking on urban surfaces?
Huge difference. And I think this is really important to say clearly, because some people might hear this episode and think, okay, I will just take my shoes off on the way to the supermarket. And that is not quite what we're recommending.
Right. So natural surfaces, grass, soil, sand, even smooth rock, they have texture. They're uneven in small ways. And that unevenness is actually good for your feet. Every small bump and dip in the ground makes the muscles in your feet work, makes them adjust, keeps them active and strong.
Whereas concrete is flat and hard and completely unforgiving. It does not give anything back. So walking barefoot on concrete for a long time can actually create problems. Heel pain, soreness, stress on the joints, because there is no natural cushioning from the ground itself.
Exactly. So the ideal situation is natural ground. But we understand that not everyone has a beautiful park outside their front door. And this is where something called minimalist shoes become very interesting.
Minimalist shoes, yes. So this was something we both discovered during the experiment. Because you cannot be completely barefoot all the time in a city. You need something on your feet sometimes. But the question is, can you get some of the benefits of barefoot walking while still wearing shoes?
And the answer is yes, if you choose the right shoes. Minimalist shoes are designed to be as close to barefoot as possible. They're very thin, the sole is flat, so there's no raised heel. They're very flexible, so your foot can move naturally. And they're usually quite wide at the front, so your toes have space to spread.
I tried a pair during the second half of our 30 days, and honestly, they felt a bit strange at first, like wearing nothing, which I suppose is the point.
They take some getting used to, but after a week or so, I really liked them.
Is it better to run barefoot?
So, the research is genuinely mixed. There are studies that show barefoot running can reduce certain types of injury, especially knee injuries, because of that change in foot strike we talked about earlier, landing on the middle of the foot instead of the heel. But there are also studies that show barefoot running increases the risk of other injuries, especially stress injuries in the foot itself, if you transition too quickly.
So it is not simply better or worse.
Exactly. It depends on the person, on their body, on how much experience they have, on how carefully they make the transition. Elite runners have done it successfully. Lots of regular runners have tried it and hurt themselves because they did too much too fast.
That is good advice for our listeners who are runners. Do not just go out tomorrow and run 10 kilometers without shoes. That is a recipe for pain.
A very painful recipe. But if you are curious, you can start very slowly, a few minutes on grass. Let your feet adapt over weeks and months, not days.
Okay, so we mentioned research a couple of times. Let's actually talk about what scientists say, because I think some people might listen to this and think, okay, this sounds nice, but is there actual evidence?
So there is real research on this. There are studies published in proper scientific journals. One area where the evidence is quite strong is foot strength. Multiple studies have shown that people who regularly walk or exercise barefoot develop significantly stronger foot muscles compared to people who always wear supportive shoes. And stronger foot muscles means better balance, better stability, lower risk of ankle injuries.
I noticed my balance actually improved. I used to be quite wobbly doing certain exercises, like standing on one leg, which sounds easy, but it's not.
It is harder than it looks, and that improvement in balance is directly connected to the foot muscles getting stronger, and also to the increased sensory information your feet are sending to your brain when they're in direct contact with the ground.
Sensory information. So your feet are basically sending messages to your brain about the ground beneath you.
All the time. When you're wearing a thick, cushioned shoe, a lot of that information is blocked. Your brain receives much less feedback about what's happening under your feet.
When you go barefoot, suddenly your brain is getting a huge amount of information, and it uses that to help you balance and move more efficiently.
That is actually mind-blowing when you think about it. Your shoes are kind of silencing your feet.
That's a really good way to put it. Your shoes are silencing your feet. I might use that in an essay.
Please credit me.
I will think about it. But yes, the science is there. It's not complete. There's still a lot to learn, but the direction of the research is genuinely interesting and positive for barefoot walking, done sensibly and on appropriate surfaces.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot today. The history, the health benefits, the grounding idea, the safety side, the difference between natural and urban surfaces, minimalist shoes, running, the science, and I think it's time for the practical part, because someone listening to this right now might be thinking, okay, I want to try this. Where do I even start?
So the first thing I would say is start small and start safe. Do not try to walk barefoot on city streets on day one. Find a safe, natural surface, a garden if you have one, a clean park near your home, a beach if you're lucky enough to live near one. Start with just 10 minutes a day.
10 minutes is honestly enough to start, because your feet are probably not used to this at all. The skin on the bottom of your feet might be quite soft if you have been wearing shoes your whole life, and the muscles in your feet are probably not very strong yet, so give your body time to adapt.
Week 1, 10 minutes on grass. Week 2, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Gradually increase, and pay attention to how your feet feel. Some soreness is normal. Sharp pain is not. If something hurts badly, stop.
Also, check the ground before you walk on it, especially the first few times. Look for anything sharp, any glass, anything unpleasant. You will naturally start doing this automatically after a while, but in the beginning, it is good to be careful.
And if you want to get the benefits but you cannot always be outside on natural ground, consider trying minimalist shoes for your everyday walking. Even just wearing them around the house is a start.
And here's something I would add from personal experience. Try barefoot walking in the morning, even just in your garden or on your balcony if you have one. 5 minutes of standing on grass or soil in the morning, especially if there's dew. It genuinely changes how you start your day. It sounds a bit strange, but it works.
It does work. I started doing this about 2 weeks into our experiment, and it became one of my favorite parts of the morning, which is surprising because I am not really a morning person.
Nobody who knows Maya would believe she does anything positive before 10 in the morning.
That is completely unfair. I function perfectly well before 10.
You sent me a voice message at 9 one morning that was just the sound of you sighing for 15 seconds.
That was a creative expression of how I was feeling. Okay, so our challenge for all of you listening today is this. Try barefoot walking for just 1 week. 10 minutes a day on a safe, natural surface. Grass in a park, your garden, anywhere clean and natural. Just 1 week.
And notice how your feet feel, how your body feels, how your mind feels, and come and tell us about it. We would genuinely love to hear from you. Leave a comment, write to us, let us know what happened. Did you love it? Did you step on something terrible? Both are valid outcomes and both are interesting.
Both are extremely relatable. I stepped on a snail in week 2 and I am still not fully over it.
She screamed so loud.
I did not scream. I made a sound of surprise.
It was a scream, Maya. The neighbors heard it.
Okay, fine. It was a small scream, but in my defense, it was very unexpected. Anyway, the point is, barefoot walking is one of those things that costs nothing, requires no equipment, no gym membership, no special diet, nothing. Just you and the ground beneath your feet. And the more we learn about it, the more it seems like one of the simplest and most natural things we can do for our health.
Which is kind of beautiful, actually. In a world where we're always buying things and downloading things and upgrading things, sometimes the best thing you can do is just take your shoes off.
That might be the wisest thing you have ever said on this podcast.
I have my moments. Thank you so much for listening to the Golden L podcast today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who might enjoy it too. It really helps us grow and reach more English learners around the world.
And we will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and maybe take your shoes off once in a while.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.